To talk about genetics, even though we're really getting to plant genetics, let's start with horses because horses are really fun and sometimes it can be a little bit easier to understand than strictly talking about yellow and green peas. So this is our little paint mare single, and look how super cute she is, all brown and white and got the lots of loud paint color. This is her little pregnancy photo shoot. That was her official photo shoot. You can tell here she's a little bit like, oh, brother, let's get this done. This is 23 days before her due date, and you can really look at that belly there. So horses, just to let you know, they're pregnant for about 11 months. So she was definitely getting big and tired. But there's a little baby getting ready to be born. So here's the father. So if you'll notice, he is also really nice and what we would say loud. He's loud color, brown and white. And he's actually tricolor. He's got black on him too. So he was just a beautiful tricolor paint that we actually bought to breed to our beautiful paint mare. There's another picture of the father. So pretty. So we know the phenotype of the mare and the stallion. The phenotype is actually what you see. So what do you see here? You see a paint. What we call a paint, that brown and white. You see a paint. That's the phenotype. What is the actual physical expression of the genes? What we see. We don't know the genotype. The genotype is their genes that you don't know unless you have genetic testing. Genes are invisible and we just don't know them. So we wonder what the baby will look like. So we know what we hope he's going to look like. The baby, the foal, receives an allele for the color from the mother and an allele for color from the father. So what is an allele? An allele is basically a characteristic and it's on a certain place on our chromosomes. So on the horse chromosomes, there's a specific spot for color, and each mother, the mother and the father, gives one of those alleles for the baby to know what color it's going to be. So the mother and the father give a haploid gamete. So what's a gamete? Let's think back to plants now. So a gamete in plants is going to be pollen, which is the male gamete, or the ovule, which is a female gamete. So in animals, it would be an egg or a sperm. Those would be gametes. It's a cell of sexual reproduction. So the mother and the father is going to give an egg or a sperm, or in the case of plants, pollen or ovule. So that's the gamete. The gamete is haploid. So what does haploid mean? Haploid means it is a gene with half of the genetic material needed for life. So the mother is going to give half and the father is going to give half. Your pollen only has half of the DNA needed for plant life. Your egg and sperm only have half the DNA needed for animal life. So that's what this means, half the DNA. So they're going to give a haploid gamete with an allele for color and other characteristics. The two haploid cells are going to come together and form a diploid cell. So the diploid cell means that it has a half and a half together. So now it has, instead of single sets of chromosomes, it has pairs of chromosomes. So this means pairs of chromosomes. Haploid would be single sets of chromosomes, and diploid means pairs of chromosomes, each pair being a combination of the mother and the father. And so this is the pairs of chromosomes necessary, pairs of DNA necessary for life. Yay, baby's born. So we got just a little plain brown baby. He's actually bay, which means he's brown with a black mane and tail, and super, super cute, but definitely not paint. Look, he only has one little star right here, and that's just a little marking. It doesn't mean he's a paint. So we got a little bay baby with a little star. He actually looks just like his grandfather. He acts a little bit like his grandfather too. So the key to color and other characteristics is what we call recessive and dominant alleles. Each characteristic, so each allele has a specific spot on the chromosomes. So this is from, say, the father, and this is from, say, the mother. This is a haploid, so this is half, or this would be half the genetic DNA, and this is haploid. So you might have, for example, people. If you use the 23andMe, all right, 23 refers to your pairs of chromosomes. We have 23 pairs of chromosomes, all right? But our haploid cells, our cells of sexual reproduction, our eggs and our sperm, have 23 single strands. So we have 23 of these single strands, or 23 of these single strands, okay? We have 23 strands, but when they come together, we have 23 pairs. So that's the difference between diploid and haploid. So for example, this might be where color is located. For people, this might be where eye color is located, or hair color, or height. And genes can all work together. So we're not really going to get into all the genes working together. We're just going to stay very simple. All right, how many pairs of chromosomes do people have? Well, we have 23 pairs, which is easy to remember because 23andMe. Chickens have 78 pairs. So how many pairs you have is not really dependent on like how intelligent you are or anything like that. It's actually maybe just about markings, how many markings are possible, how many different combinations of things are possible. So horses have 64 pairs of chromosomes. Peas have 9 pairs. All plants even do not have the same number of chromosomes. For like you can see here that mammals don't all have the same number of chromosomes. Plants don't have the same number of chromosomes either. So different plants, different species have different numbers of chromosomes. But peas have 9 pairs. Very, very few pairs. So there's very, very few like different characteristics that peas can have. But the good thing about it is it makes them very easy to study. So there was a guy named Mendel, and he was a monk who was very interested in pea plants, which got him interested in genetics when he started seeing that if he would breed different peas together, sometimes he would get a hidden trait would come out. So that's how he knew that there was things like recessive and dominant and stuff like that. So anyway, Mendel is actually the father of all our modern genetic studies. So even our genetic studies today on people, we can thank Mendel for it because he was the very, very forerunner of genetics. So peas play a very big part in our history. Peas actually, we have peas to thank for being able to study all kinds of inherited traits. So let's talk a little bit more about recessive and dominant. So we're going to use this Punnett square here. All right, I've got it written out. I hope I'm not making y'all sick. All right, so let's talk about the horses. If paint is a dominant trait, what we call dominant, meaning that it's always going to override any other trait. We're talking about just color here. If we were talking about hair color, eye color, whatever, we would use that. All right, so let's just say that paint always overrides, and a little p, not paint or solid colored, like our little colt, that is going to be a little p, all right? Meaning that it is not going to override the others. I wonder if I can draw here. All right, so this is what we thought we had. We thought we had a father that had that when he gave his haploid cell, he gave a big P, or because that's not good. All right, the Punnett square is not working like this, so I'm going to end this video and I'm going to start again and come back next video.